times, many United fans getting in touch, and it's a common theme here. Really, we support the club. It's up to the club what they want to do now regarding this Cristiano Ronaldo and the various outbursts, the various attacks that he makes on various people. I agree with you, Simon. It's about time. We want to hear names. We want to hear names that he's talking about.
If you're going to go
identify
hard,
the people.
either go hard or go home, right? So if you're going to do it properly.
Yeah. It's understood United are considering all their options, including whether to fine Ronaldo and whether they can take further disciplinary action, including tearing up his contract. As long as Ronaldo, this amuses me, doesn't demand a payoff for the remainder of his deal. Where are we at with it? You ever sacked a player, Simon?
Yes, I did. I sacked a player called Jamie Pollock, so it's not something I've written about it, so it's not something I need to be particularly guarded about. I sacked a player for consistent and persistent criticising of the club and blatant disregard to his physical conditioning. I followed the commercial blueprint, given I had a workforce of 3,500 in my retail business. I had a human resources director, which was the highest quality, built in proper commercial disciplines, written warning, second written warning, first and final written warning, verbal warnings, all the whole process. Sacked him. In comes the football establishment, rallies around with the PFA, finds a mechanism to overturn it and reinstate him, brought him back, went through the same process again. He defied the club's wishes, sacked him again, back into the situation again with the PFA and the football tribunals. Lawyer McElhenney sat on it, and the preposterous football BS that I had to listen to would make your hair curl, because it's designed to be protecting of a scenario that is weighted in antiquated thinking and age-old practices. The difficulty between sacking somebody in a football world as opposed to the commercial world is that you have fixed-term contracts. So I put Jim White, the footballer, on a 3-year deal. He has a guarantee of the 3-year contract. I put Jim White, the employee, on an employment contract. You get notice periods, you've got to work your notice period, or if I want to make you redundant, I've got obligations to you, but it's a very different dynamic. So it means you're a hostage to fortune, and the reason why it's there is because of the Bosman rule, but also because you're trying to protect values. Now, when you fire somebody because they've committed gross misconduct, it shouldn't then involve, in any other walk of life, a financial compensation to them. They've got themselves fired for something that they've done, not something you've engineered. It's not constructive dismissal. If it's constructive dismissal, they'll take you to court and say, you forced that situation, you made me behave in that way, and you can't take that action. You can fire a manager. You see it all the time. They're on fixed-term contracts, but when you fire a manager, you pay them up. So what you're doing is, if you're firing somebody like this situation with Ronaldo, he clearly is bringing the club into disrepute, and he's breaching the obligations that he'll have under his contract, which is not to do that. Now, of course, there might be a unique contract for Ronaldo, because Ronaldo comes with all the stardom, and he may have a different set of obligations upon him, but he won't be able to just say what he wants, irrespective of the collateral damage, true or untrue, in what he's saying. So if you sack Ronaldo in this situation because clearly you can prove that he's maliciously designed a campaign to disrupt the club, that's assuming that what he's saying is steeped in some other motivation, then there shouldn't be a need to pay him up because he's been dismissed for gross misconduct. But the difficulty is that the way that the football world holds together, it is held together to protect, and the PFA will rock straight in, guaranteed, irrespective of the wrongness of it, or the immorality of it, and protect the player. And it's not because I'm coming at it from a position of being an owner and just simply having one view on it, because if you talk to, despite my perspective in the media and people thinking I'm hard on players, if you talk to 90% of the players that played for me, they knew that I loved and cared for them and wanted the very best for them, but I wanted them to do their jobs. And this is why I get a little bit irritable with people like, he's entitled to his say, but there must be a consequence. You cannot just have the most powerful platform to say what you want to say. Perhaps go to Piers Morgan and say, I'll do an interview, but I'll only do it on my terms. I hope Piers doesn't allow that to happen. I hope we get a proper, warts and all, proper interrogation on Wednesday and Thursday.
How different is this to the interview Lukaku gave, which was unauthorised, and then that effectively spelled the end of it for him at Chelsea?
I think Lukaku, when you look back on that, and we were all strident in our reaction to it because we thought it was unwise for him to do an interview, he didn't take a flamethrower to the club. He took a perspective on the fact that he wasn't being treated the way he thought he should be in the playing terms. He felt it was out of favour with the coach. He wasn't getting played as regularly as he thought he should have been played, and the manager may have changed his mode of play. And ultimately, it got extrapolated into something more sinister than that. But when you look back on it, this is vastly different to basically Ronaldo turning around and making allegations about every aspect of the football club. We've only heard 4 minutes. God knows what we're going to hear.
Yeah.
I mean, it might be the best 4 minutes. We might hear another 86 minutes of tosh, right? But we've heard 4 minutes of allegations about everybody else, and everything else, from the coach to the owners to the executives of the football club to ex-Man United players. Boom! This is incendiary stuff.
I mean, What's the end to this story? How do you see it ending? A lot of people are messaging saying, just a reminder, Sir Alex always said nobody is bigger than the club, and he's right. So he's right. He is right. Nobody's bigger than the club. Not even this guy.
This will run it.
So how's this going to end?
This will run its course. You know, Ronaldo is not bigger than the club. I don't care that he's got 500 million followers around the world. He's a footballer. He's someone that people aspire to be like for certain reasons. He's been an ultimately fantastic player. But United will come out of this with Ten Hag taking the club in a better direction. You know, I know I've made observations about his suit didn't fit him properly in the context of how his presentation looks. I wanted to see a leader. And I felt in that press conference, like I did at an early doors of Ange Postecoglou, that they weren't quite on their mettle, which is understandable. It's a huge football club. The political animal, the beast that is Man United, is ravenous in the way that it chews people up. And the politics and the culture of that football club are very difficult to manage.
So only one question in town.
Out. And not on his terms.
Will United sack him?
I hope so. If in terms of what he's done, in the manner in which he's done it, he didn't need to go to Piers Morgan. I understand why Piers Morgan would take this interview. You say it yourself. Every journalist in the country would want this interview. I look at it differently because I'm in the media, but I don't consider myself a journalist. I consider myself as somebody that's a real world person that speaks to it in a certain way.
I'm a people.
No, but my commercial experience is in football. I'm a person that has commercial experience in football, not journalistic experience of it. I look at it and go, if this was me and this was being said about my football club and a lot of it was steeped in misrepresentation in order to engender an outcome that suited the individual, I would cut him off at the knees.
Right, you'd sack him. I can't head to the break without mentioning Dom, the Surrey Gunner. Ronaldo hasn't said anything out of line about the Glazers. They don't care. Simon, you're never going to be balanced when it comes to players' opinions. And Jim, you're just being a typical modern-day media facile muppet.
What does caring look like then? What does caring look like? Please explain to me what caring looks like. So I'd like to know what caring looks like. So if you can qualify that, stand that opinion up without it being debunked, then I'll have that debate with you, what caring looks like.
Oh, Dom. Oh, dear.
Jim White and Simon Jordan. Monday to Thursday morning, 10 till 1. On AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.